Okay, this is Deanna Neal from my SAT prep class, and she was in a whole group setting. It was her and what, two other classmates? Three other classmates, and they taught the remainder of the class in a whole group setting. So Deanna, how do you think this project went as a whole?
I think it went okay overall. We did a whole lot better, I think, than I would have done if you was just the teacher, because I actually paid attention to them more.
So you would have probably been tempted to kind of just daydream or not pay attention if I just lectured and just presented it on the dot cam. Alright. Do you think that becoming an expert in your story, well, first off, how difficult was it to become an expert in your story? Like, did it just come naturally, or how hard did you have to work for that?
I didn't have to work very hard. You helped me a whole lot on it. It was just, we read it, but we didn't really get it until we thought it was focused on just birth control and not the study of it.
Okay. So my job was really to help you facilitate the understanding, not tell you what it was about.
Yes.
And then once that point happened, then you become experts.
Yes.
How do you think presenting the teaching unit, like, how do you think that went?
It went good. The debate was like the biggest part of it. I felt like that helped me out the most.
Just as a side note, this group did a debate on the study of birth control, like whether it should be studied, and they were based on a Socratic seminar rubric that will be attached in the research. Okay, Deanna, how would you compare your understanding of the story doing it this way as compared to if I taught it? Like, do you think you understood it better, or what?
I understood it better and I was more focused.
Why do you think you were more focused?
Because I had to teach it.
Because you had to teach it, so you had a little bit of pressure on you to teach it. How do you think the class performed? Like, how do you think they did in listening and absorbing your lesson?
I think they did okay for the most part. It was like little sidebars, and like they were doing different things, like just talking or letting their hair down, but for the most part it was okay.
So you had some minor, typical high school hijinks, like little side talking that you had to reprimand, but other than that,
it was okay.
It was okay. Performance-wise, do you think when you taught that they understood what you taught?
Yes.
From an academic perspective, the researchers showed that, you know, their group did really well. How do you think they'll do? Because on Friday, I haven't told the other groups this yet, but I'm going to give all of you guys a copy of all the stories, and then I'm going to grade them and see how you did compared to what happened when you taught. So give you a little bit of a debrief time and then present it again without the answer keys. Do you think they'll do well?
Yes, if they paid attention and just didn't copy off of everybody's paper.
So we'll definitely see on that. And they were in a group setting, so preventing all forms of collaboration was impossible because they were supposed to work together. So, do you have any ideas for what could be done differently next time or anything like that?
I just think that the kids should pay more attention to the teachers.
So just kids paying more attention. And one last comparison, how do you think it worked when the group taught, teachers group, when they split you up into individual groups? How well do you think that went as compared to the other groups?
I think it worked a whole lot better because it wasn't all of them on one person. It was like 4 or 5 and one teacher. So they got to ask more questions and be more alert.
And the last question, do you think the students felt more comfortable asking you guys and just the peers in general questions than they do asking me, or do you think it doesn't really matter?
I think they are more relaxed asking us questions since we're the same age. So
you think it worked by making you experts and my just monitoring rather than me just telling and relaying all the information to you? Alright, so this has almost been a consensus. The students essentially all agreed that my being a facilitator and doing some group instruction to teach them how to be experts worked better than if I just lectured for 45 minutes or whatever the situation is. Thank you, Deanna.